Hey guys, let's take a moment to face a hard truth. People don't truly appreciate what they think they can't lose. It's an unfortunate reality, but it happens all too often. If you're starting to feel like you're just a backup plan in a woman's life, then it's time for a serious change. You can't keep letting the situation unfold without regaining control. You need to subtly shift the dynamic, reminding her that you're not just sitting around waiting and that you in fact hold the power. The key here is to communicate this without having to spell it out for her. It's about the energy you project, the boundaries you set, and the way you carry yourself. Let's go over a few strategies that will help you make this shift, ensuring that you are seen as a man who values himself and won't settle for being second. This is the kind of approach that leads to respect and attraction, not desperation. Number 1. Embrace and embody a more masculine persona. Women are naturally drawn to men who exude assertiveness, independence, and the confidence to set boundaries. It's not about being domineering or harsh, but about projecting a sense of strength and self-assuredness that commands respect. When you adopt a more masculine energy, you're not only asserting your presence, but also reminding her that you're a man who stands firm in his values and priorities. Masculine men project stability, decisiveness, and resilience, qualities that women find highly attractive. These traits make your commitment something of value, not something to be taken for granted. You're not the type of person to just bend to anyone's will or jump at every opportunity. You know your worth, and you're not afraid to show it. By cultivating this kind of energy, you create a sense of urgency. You're subtly signaling that your time and attention aren't freely given, but rather earned through mutual respect and effort. This energy sets the tone for how you expect to be treated in a relationship, showing that you won't tolerate being second to anyone or being strung along. It's about creating an environment where she understands that if she wants to have your full attention and commitment, she has to show she values you in return. Number 1. Embrace and embody a more masculine persona. Women are naturally drawn to men who exude assertiveness, independence, and the confidence to set boundaries. It's not about being domineering or harsh, but about projecting a sense of strength and self-assuredness that commands respect. When you adopt a more masculine energy, you're not only asserting your presence, but also reminding her that you're a man who stands firm in his values and priorities. Masculine men project stability, decisiveness, and resilience, qualities that women find highly attractive. These traits make your commitment something of value, not something to be taken for granted. You're not the type of person to just bend to anyone's will or jump at every opportunity. You know your worth, and you're not afraid to show it. By cultivating this kind of energy, you create a sense of urgency. You're subtly signaling that your time and attention aren't freely given, but rather earned through mutual respect and effort. This energy sets the tone for how you expect to be treated in a relationship, showing that you won't tolerate being second to anyone or being strung along. It's about creating an environment where she understands that if she wants to have your full attention and commitment, she has to show she values you in return. Quick break, guys. For those of you asking about the course, it's no longer available. You're late, and that's just how it is. But for those of you who are serious about stepping up and taking control, I've created a one-on-one chat with me. Choose your package and let's solve any problem you're facing, whether it's crushing your goals or handling that conversation with a girl. Number 2, prioritize time with your guys. It might seem counterintuitive, but one of the most powerful ways to maintain attraction in a relationship is by spending quality time with your friends. Here's why. Women often feel uneasy when their man chooses to spend time with his friends instead of constantly being available to her. Why? Because it signals something important: independence. It shows that you have a life and a support system that extends beyond the relationship and that you don't revolve around her. A strong male support network not only boosts your confidence, but also subtly reinforces the idea that you're not solely dependent on the relationship for your happiness or fulfillment. This is a key factor in maintaining a healthy dynamic. When you spend time with your guys, you're not just enjoying yourself, you're reminding her that your world isn't entirely centered on her, which makes your presence even more valuable when you do give it. Take the time to go out, laugh, and share meaningful experiences with your friends. This doesn't just enrich your life, it signals that you're an individual who has his own interests, goals, and friendships. It subtly communicates that while she's important, she's not the only important part of your life. This helps her see that your happiness doesn't hinge on her attention or approval, and that you have a rich, fulfilling life outside the relationship. It's a clear message that you're a man of value, and you're not going to be easily swayed or taken for granted. Number 3, expand your social circle, including women. One of the most effective ways to increase your value and create a healthy sense of competition in a relationship is by building a diverse social circle, which includes women. Whether they're platonic friends, co-workers, or acquaintances, having women in your life can trigger a powerful instinct in her: competition. When she sees you interacting with other women, it subtly reminds her that you're not just available to her, and that your attention and time are earned. It taps into a woman's natural sense of competition and drives her to step up, keep things interesting, and not take your presence for granted. It's a gentle but effective way to make her realize that if she doesn't value you, there's a chance someone else will. This isn't about using other women to manipulate or make her jealous, but rather about reinforcing your value. It's a way of showing that your life is full, dynamic, and not dependent on one single person. When she sees that you're desirable to others, it reinforces the idea that you're not easily replaced. It also communicates that you have options, and you're not simply waiting around for her to make up her mind. By expanding your social circle in this way, you also give yourself more opportunities for personal growth and enrichment. You'll naturally attract more confidence, making you even more magnetic. It's about building a life that's engaging, fulfilling, and valuable, not just for her, but for you as well. Number 4, don't fear losing her. One of the most detrimental things you can do in a relationship is allow the fear of losing her to take root. The moment you start fearing that possibility, you unintentionally put yourself in a vulnerable and weak position. That fear starts to seep into your actions, influencing how you behave. You may find yourself becoming overly available, constantly agreeable, and eager to please her in ways that go against your true self. What happens next? You lose the edge that initially attracted her to you, the confidence, the independence, the strong sense of self. Without that, you become less of a challenge and ultimately less of a prize. Instead of succumbing to this fear, it's time to shift your mindset completely. You must remind yourself that you are already complete as an individual, long before she came into the picture, and you'll continue to be whole regardless of the outcome of your relationship. Your value is not dependent on her approval, her love, or her presence in your life. When you adopt this mindset, you exude a quiet confidence that's magnetic. You demonstrate that you're not desperate and you're certainly not stuck. When you stop fearing the loss of someone, you actually increase the chance of keeping them. Why? Because you stop behaving out of desperation. You aren't constantly seeking validation or approval. You live your life for yourself, not for her. The dynamic between you becomes healthier, where your independence and self-sufficiency become the very qualities that keep her intrigued and invested. It's vital to maintain your own personal growth, hobbies, and friendships. Your world shouldn't revolve around her, no matter how much you care for her. A woman wants to be with a man who has his own life, his own passions, and the strength to remain grounded in his own sense of self. Fear of losing her should never dictate your actions. Always stay true. Number 5, be authentic and honest. One of the most common mistakes men make in relationships is hiding their true selves, often out of fear of rejection. They hold back parts of who they are, trying to mold themselves into someone they think their partner will want, rather than showing up as their real, unfiltered self. But here's the truth. By doing this, you're building your relationship on a shaky foundation, a facade that over time will likely crumble. When you're not being authentic, you're not creating a genuine connection. Authenticity is one of the most powerful and attractive traits you can possess in today's world. It's rare, and in a world full of people trying to be something they're not, being unapologetically yourself makes you stand out. Women are drawn to men who have the courage to show their true selves, flaws and all. When you're open and genuine, you're not just showing who you are, but you're also demonstrating self-respect and confidence in your own skin. The key here is to let go of the fear that your true self won't be good enough. When you embrace authenticity, you signal to her that you're comfortable with who you are, your values, interests, quirks, and all. And when she sees you confident in your own authenticity, it becomes clear to her that losing you would be a significant loss. You become someone who is irreplaceable, not because of the image you're projecting, but because of the person you truly are. Confidence in your authenticity is magnetic. It draws people in because it's real, and real connections are what lead to strong, lasting relationships. The right person will love you for who you are, not for a version of yourself you created to please them. So, instead of hiding behind a mask, be brave enough to show your true self. Embrace your individuality, and watch how the relationship transforms into something much deeper and more meaningful. Number 6, set firm boundaries. Respect is the bedrock of any meaningful relationship. Without it, love becomes fragile and unbalanced. A woman cannot truly love or connect with a man she doesn't respect, and respect doesn't come from being passive or easily swayed. It comes from the boundaries you set and the principles you live by. When you set clear, firm boundaries and enforce them with consistency, you demonstrate your self-respect and your willingness to protect your own space, values, and well-being. Boundaries are not about controlling the other person. They're about ensuring that you are treated with the same dignity and care that you offer in return. Don't allow anyone, including the woman in your life, to walk all over you or take advantage of your kindness. Respecting yourself means not tolerating disrespect, no matter how small it may seem in the moment. It's essential to be assertive in expressing what you will and won't tolerate, because without this clarity, relationships can become one-sided or manipulative. A man who has firm principles and unwavering boundaries radiates strength and self-respect. These qualities make him undeniably attractive because they show that he values himself enough to stand by his beliefs and his needs. A man who holds himself to high standards and refuses to compromise on what matters is not easily swayed or taken for granted. He's a man who has his own life, his own goals, and his own sense of purpose. When you enforce your boundaries, you also establish a sense of stability and security in the relationship. She'll recognize that you are someone who is not afraid to take a stand, which in turn makes you more desirable. Why? Because deep down, she'll fear losing someone who respects himself enough to walk away if the relationship doesn't align with his values. By consistently holding your ground, you become someone irreplaceable, a man who knows his worth and is not afraid to protect it. Number 7, express disappointment when necessary. In any relationship, boundaries and trust are essential. If she does something that crosses a line, disrespects you, or breaks your trust, it's critical not to brush it off or pretend it didn't happen. Ignoring these moments only allows the behavior to continue, and it ultimately undermines the strength of your relationship. Instead, express your disappointment in a calm, clear, and direct manner. It's important to communicate how her actions have affected you and why it's unacceptable. This approach isn't about being aggressive or retaliatory. It's about showing that you have self-respect and aren't afraid to stand up for your values. By expressing your feelings, you make it clear that you are not someone who will tolerate disrespect or mistreatment. You aren't just passively accepting whatever comes your way, and you're not afraid to hold her accountable for her actions. This sets a healthy dynamic in the relationship, one based on open communication, understanding, and mutual respect. By addressing these issues head-on, you also remind her that your commitment isn't unconditional. It's not something that can be taken for granted. Your time, attention, and affection are valuable and contingent upon respect, trust, and shared effort. When you set this tone, she begins to understand that your love and loyalty are not automatic. They must be earned and reciprocated. This approach will not only earn you respect, but also set a powerful precedent in the relationship. When she sees that you're willing to stand up for yourself and that your commitment has boundaries, she'll be more likely to work harder to regain your approval and avoid making the same mistake again. She'll recognize that losing you isn't just a theoretical idea, it's a real possibility, and it's something she'll actively want to avoid. Number 8. Be emotionally unavailable at times. Being emotionally available in a relationship is important, but there's also power in learning to be emotionally unavailable at times. This is not about playing games or shutting her out, but rather about creating a healthy balance. You don't need to be at her beck and call, constantly serving as her emotional outlet or responding to her every need immediately. Sometimes it's okay to step back and prioritize your own emotions, needs, and goals. It's essential to have boundaries around your emotional energy. Taking the time to recharge, reflect, or focus on your own life will not only benefit you, but also the relationship. When you give yourself this space, it reminds her that your emotional availability isn't something she should take for granted. You're not her emotional crutch. Your time and attention are precious, and they have to be earned. When you step back, take a longer time to reply, or show that you're focused on other things, whether that's work, personal hobbies, or spending time with friends, you create a dynamic where she starts to recognize that your attention isn't automatic. She'll realize that it's something she must work for and appreciate, not something that's always readily available at her convenience. This emotional distance can actually make you more attractive. It gives her the opportunity to miss you, to appreciate you more, and to understand that your emotional energy isn't endless or guaranteed. When you show that you value your own well-being and can be independent emotionally, you raise the stakes in the relationship and encourage a more balanced, fulfilling connection. In the long run, this healthy dynamic ensures that you're not constantly sacrificing your own needs to meet hers. You remain grounded, strong, and able to maintain your individuality, which makes your emotional presence even more meaningful when you choose to give it. Number 9. Center your life around something else. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in any relationship is to avoid making a woman the sole focus of your life. While it's natural to invest time and energy into the relationship, your life should never revolve around her. Instead, build a world that is centered on your passions, your achievements, and your ongoing personal growth. By focusing on your own goals, hobbies, and the things that bring you fulfillment, you cultivate a life that is rich and meaningful, one that she will find incredibly attractive and ultimately irreplaceable. When you live with a sense of purpose that extends beyond the relationship, you create a balance that benefits both you and her. Your life isn't solely dependent on her attention, approval, or presence. This sense of independence and self-sufficiency makes you more compelling. You become someone who is not just living for the relationship, but living for your own dreams and ambitions. That confidence and drive will naturally draw her in. The real key here is that you show her that your value isn't tied solely to the relationship. When she sees that you are pursuing your own passions, investing in your personal growth, and building a life that excites you, she begins to realize that your time, love, and attention are not something she can take for granted. Your sense of self-worth is rooted in your own life, not in how much you give to her. This dynamic creates a healthy sense of fear in her, fear of losing someone who is exceptional, who doesn't rely on the relationship to feel complete. She'll see that you are extraordinary, and that if she doesn't appreciate what you bring to the table, someone else might. This fear is not about manipulation, it's about showing her that you are a person of value, and that your life is rich and fulfilling regardless of the relationship. Number 10. Focus on balance and growth. At the end of the day, the foundation of a strong, healthy relationship is balance. It's about finding the right equilibrium between giving and taking, loving and respecting, investing in the relationship while maintaining your own sense of self. Prioritizing yourself, your needs, your goals, and your well-being is essential to creating a dynamic where both you and your partner thrive. When you set clear boundaries, maintain your independence, and put effort into your own personal growth, you naturally establish your value in the relationship. This isn't about playing games or creating unnecessary drama to test her. It's about building something real and sustainable. The key is mutual respect, trust, and effort from both sides. When you prioritize your own growth and make sure you're continually evolving, she'll notice. You won't just be a man who is waiting for her to decide. You'll be a man who is actively creating a meaningful life for himself, and that makes you more attractive, more valuable, and harder to lose. The effort you put into maintaining your balance is what keeps the relationship strong. She'll see that you're not only focused on her, but that you have a life outside of the relationship, one that is fulfilling, rewarding, and constantly growing. And that's what will make her appreciate you more, because she'll realize that you're someone who can stand on your own, who is not emotionally dependent, and who brings value to the relationship in a way that is rooted in your own self-worth. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.